I got the book, actually. One of the producers gave me the book about in 2019. And I thought it was a very powerful story, very emotional. I didn't know if it was possible to make it into a show because it doesn't really have a conclusion. They're still fighting.
You were basically testing.
I was, yeah. I don't like to use that word because I think the process is...
Okay, exploring is
a better word.
Every project is unique. This particular one is a true story and it's extremely tragic.
I mean, I'm not expecting not intelligent answers from him. No.
I will anyways not give a very intelligent answer or a very articulate answer because I'm messed up anyway.
For coming. These are the students who hopefully will be the flag bearer of Actor Prepares for the next so many generations. And apart from the teaching, great teaching that's done by the amazing teachers that we have, we also have these sessions where we talk to people who have done extraordinary work. We are choosy about it. And I personally feel that Trial by Fire is one of the finest shows that I have seen, and that's why you are here, Prashant. How did the idea come to your mind of wanting to make this series, and when did it germinate?
So thank you, sir, for having us, and thank you all for coming and for being here and having us here. So I got the book, actually. One of the producers gave me the book about in 2019. And I thought it was a very powerful story, very emotional. I didn't know if it was possible to make it into a show because it doesn't really have a conclusion. They're still fighting. The victory is that they are still fighting. They've refused to accept defeat. It spanned 25 years. There were no mysteries, no twists, no turns, no... the main opponent was basically the system and inaction and stagnancy. So how do you make a series about something like that, which itself presents itself as very no drama, in the traditional sense of it. But I think that became an interesting challenge, and I think in some ways that's true to what a hero really is in terms of fighting regardless of the outcome and finding that courage within you. And I thought the Krishnamurtis were examples of that, and that if we could find in ourselves a fraction of that courage to stand up and fight for what we believe in, then maybe that things would be quite different. And then also, there was something, it wasn't this huge event that took place in the distant past. It's a cinema. It's a place we all go to. So I think those two things made me feel that it was relevant and important and potentially even inspiring. So that's sort of how I came to it.
Prashant also made an amazing film which was very loved in Sundance Film Festival called Umrika with Reeka.
Umrika.
Yeah,
Yes.
Umrika, which was a fabulous film. How did you decide to for this amazing two people who have taken the series forward? How did you decide that?
So, I've known both of their work, for a long time. Abhay, obviously, I've known his very, much loved work, and Rajshri, has done a couple of fantastic films. There's a film called S Durga, which Sexy Durga, which her performance was absolutely stunning. So I've known I wanted, obviously wanted to work with them. Abhay and I just started discussing. He read the script. We weren't sure if he would like it, and then through the discussions, he was responding to it, and then he sort of took that leap of faith on the project, which and we were of course thrilled because he's an actor who I've admired for a long time and wanted to see, back on screen in a big way. And Rajshri, so Rajshri and I have known each other very briefly. We met once, and always wanted to work with her. But the role was so kind of difficult that I asked her if she would kindly kind of just come in and explore with me a little bit, and we
You were basically testing her.
I was, I don't like to use that word because I think the process is
Okay, exploring is a better
exploring is a better word. So she
That's
came
the
in.
word Joshua used for me when he was testing me for the thing. Yeah, I'm glad that's a good word.
Exploring.
So exploring the talent is a great word.
Yeah.
आपको कोई अब स्क्रीन टेस्ट के लिए बोलता है तो उसमें एक फीलिंग ऑफ फेलियर एंड सक्सेस की फीलिंग आती है.
And that's not
That's
to,
something great thing to learn.
Yeah, I mean, not to digress or anything, but that is a problem in the way that actors are given chances. But anyway, so Rajshri came in, and we did that one scene where she finds out that her friend's son is alive, and she did it. And the first time she did it, we were all she brought so much emotion to it that we all we were all moved and very moved, all of us, the casting director, my associate director, and then we just kind of said, okay, great, and we knew immediately that it was her. So I think she said that we texted her basically on 13th January 2020, exactly 2 years.
20.
21. So exactly to the day, 2 years before the release.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's very good. अबे आपने बहुत काम किया है. मतलब you've been selective about choosing the kind of films that you've done. मैं आपको अपना रिएक्शन बताता हूँ जब मैंने ये सीरीज़ देखना शुरू किया था, because I also happen to be it, but I did it based on a conversation with you, maybe you do not know. To me, kindness of a director is very important. I think directors need to be very kind. मेरा बेस्ट काम तब होता है जब डायरेक्टर काइंड हो. मेरे को कोई क्रिटिसाइज करने वाला डायरेक्टर मिले, वो ठीक है, इट्स इम्पॉर्टेंट टू क्रिटिसाइज, बट somehow I feel that when a person is inspiring you and encouraging you, I give my best. When a person says, यार अब करो ना ऐसे यार, क्या है, I don't, and I will not be able to give my best. You were very kind to me on the phone, and you are a kind person, so there was no way that I was not going to do that. How did you decide? So I was telling you how it happened to me when I started watching the series, and मैंने तब तक तारीफ सुननी शुरू कर दी थी. फिर मैंने देखा, फिर मैं ज़्यादा 15 मिनट देखता हूँ कोई भी सीरीज़, फिर उसके बाद नेक्स्ट डे आई डोंट हैव दैट. मैंने देखा, there was a lurking, I will not call it only sadness, but there was a lurking sadness when I was watching it, and yet it was not depressing me. So I wanted to watch the next episode and then the next episode, and these two performances kept me glued to it. And how did you approach, apart from the instructions by the director, or what is the better word for instructions?
Explore.
Yeah.
No, that was
Conversations.
testing.
Conversation. ये जो बाहर पढ़े लिखे लोग होते हैं ना, ये बड़ी सोच समझ के बातें करते हैं. Apart from the script was good and everything, but because I worked with him, how did you, on your own, work on the role? What was your process?
On my own. So obviously, Prashant had briefed us about the dynamics of the relationship. I had discussions of my character with him as well, how he's seeing it, took a few points. So you collect all that data, that information, and you sit with it. Every project is unique. This particular one is a true story, and it's extremely tragic. So I found myself troubled because you're going to recreate something so tragic. And I find, and I think I'm not alone, I think most people are like this, it's very easy for me to have empathy for another, but really not have so much empathy for myself. I'm fine where I am. What is your problem? Look at him, look at her, look at their situation, blah, 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 blah. So I was very easily able to go into that. And the more I explored their tragedy, the more thankful I was for who I am, where I am, what I have. And that just kind of slipped me into position. At some point, you just have to, I keep saying this over and over again now, it's like, and I use it for many different situations, like just get over yourself. In this case, it was being so grateful for where I am and who I have in my life and what I have in my life. So it's philosophical, it's emotional, it's humanitarian. That came about because this was such a tragic true tale.
Yeah.
You know, and I came with that to the set.
Wonderful. I'll come back to you about a question. But Rajshri, what was your process? Because I'll tell you why I'm asking this question, because somehow it reminded me of my first film. I was 28 years old and I played a 65-year-old man who was dealing with the loss of his only child, Saransh. And I was not even married, no child, but I had to go through what I had to go through. So what was the process that आपने क्या process चुना? देखिए मेरे जहन में चल रहा है जो आपके जहन में चल रहा है कि जरूरी नहीं हमको इंटेलिजेंट आंसर्स देने हैं, हमको बेसिक आंसर्स देने हैं. I mean, I'm not expecting not intelligent answers from him. No.
I will anyways not give a very intelligent answer or a very articulate answer because I am messed up anyway. I feel, whenever I approach any character, first of all, I'm very, honored to portray Neelam on screen. Her journey is, though it's a tragic event and everything, but it's very, very, very inspiring for me. First time when I got the script and I was going through all the details, because I'm a very, I like to study. I like to go through a process, just like, what we learn as an actor. Go through the imagination, go through the, inner monologue with everything. So I go through that process. I like to sit with my script and, demark it properly and go through that, okay, because anyways, we were not shooting linear. But you have to be so prepared that if you're shooting 55 and if you're shooting 35, then you know how your dynamic
scene number
should
55
work.
and scene number 30.
Yeah, means like, you're playing age 55 to 60,
age.
age
We go
55 to
18
60,
years.
and because I don't know how many people have seen the show. So, you know what I'm talking. So, we age in this show. So, we were shooting, one day we were shooting the old also, we were shooting the young also. So, we had to keep that thing in your head that, okay, you have to be prepared for the space at that time. And then, so I normally prepare myself in such a way where the internal process is there, emotional truth I carry with all my sequences, but I have to, like physical, that whole continuity of it, because how she is aging.
So what was the age group from where to where you had to reach?
We were around 35 to 58 to 9.
60.
60, yeah. So 35 to 60, that was a 22 year of period we were shown. So, yeah, like, the physical continuity. And I always make a point that, what happens in between. Even the pauses, even there are no lines, or what exactly she's saying in that. Even a look, because camera is on you over here, so you cannot lie to the camera. Like in theater, you can always make a little more gesture and still you can convey a scene. But when it comes, the camera is on you like here. You have to imagine that there are certain things is happening. Like we do imagine. Do you do imagination exercises? Yeah, like creating something, just like, okay, you opened a bottle and you're drinking a water and everything. Yeah, any particular thing. So it's exactly when your camera is here like this, you have to kind of start imagining use your imagination exercise over there where you are actually feeling everything, but not fully.
But not?
Fully. Like you cannot go, like it happens, like, you know, because it pains. The show and the work was very difficult for me. It took a toll on me mentally, physically, emotionally. But then as an actor, it's very important that, okay, you're there, not fully, come back to it, breathe in between. Because you know you have to prepare yourself for some other battle. So, I don't know if I'm
No,
answering your question.
I think also
or not.
33 to 60 is a difficult age physically to make. It's not much of a. I'm coming back again to my film because I was according to me, I thought 65-year-old man will be like this.
Yeah.
I'm 67 now. I don't look like that old man at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. But my imagination was that.
Yeah.
How
That's
old were you that time?
28.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's what I kept seeing, like, because I've seen my mother, you know, how she changed, or like, you know, how she had a little
that
hunch
was visible, huh?
and everything, and how she walked. I think that I observed a lot.
Yes.
And I'm basically a very observer person, so I know whom I have to, you know, keep as a memory bank and
Right.
portray for my other characters. So I'm always a, you know, taker.
You had everybody was, it's happened, say about 26 years back, this tragedy. I remember where I was exactly, I think all of us, it's like that 26/11 or it's like 9/11. Similarly, Upahar was that like that. And were you looking consciously for actors who looked like Krishnamurtis or who behaved like, because you made me speak to Mrs. Krishnamurti FaceTime.
Sure.
And there was a lot of resemblance in her case. I did not get to see Mr. Krishnamurti.
I think that's a slippery slope. You know, you can go very far with prosthetics and mimicking the actor and sort of trying to embody the physical aspects. That's definitely a concern. But I didn't think that we should prioritize it, and we discussed it. That's not what is the essence of those two people. So the other thing is that these guys had to do some really difficult stuff, very primal feelings. I mean, the experience of losing a child, it's not something that's imaginable. It's not something that there's no word for a parent who's lost a child in any language. You know, because it's unimaginable. So if you're asking an actor to do that, you don't really want them to be thinking, how would the Krishnamurtis react in this situation? Because the audience will feel it. You want them to be free and to embody that moment. So it's a delicate balance. Obviously, and they were both very proactive with working with the makeup team and the costume team to kind of own it a little bit and own their transformation. But I think our job was really to kind of create an environment where they could be in the moment, because this is that type of material where the things that are happening to them are so profound that the audience will pick it up immediately, and also the audiences are desensitized to, we see this and treat it so badly so often. So how do you make an audience really connect with the performance in that moment? It needs to be true. It needs to be really true. So I don't know where they go to get that. That's not really my job. How they do it, they have. I get the feeling every actor has a different way of doing it, but my job is just to facilitate that. And I think it was really important they were in the moment. So we did little, but that was not the focus.
My next question is a little hypothetical question, but if this was not a series and it was a film, do you think your approach would have been different?
Towards the actors?
Just overall.
No, I think not in spirit.
Because आपको लगता है कि series में 8-7 episode हैं, it's time to establish, time to do that. Film जो है वो 2-2.25 घंटे की है.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about the content only.
Yeah.
Just overall impact.
So I think the form would have been different. This would not have worked, and the way we would have treated time and the way we would have treated all that would have definitely changed. But the basic approach would have stayed the same, especially with regards to actors and the style of working and So
okay. So this is for both of you. When you read a script, what is that comes to your mind? Forget about that these people were living. do you first see the physical aspect of the character, means in your mind, or do you want to go in a mental way of approaching the thing? आपको क्या लगता है, जैसे आपको कोई भी स्क्रिप्ट पढ़ने को मिलता है?
सबसे पहले मैं कहानी पढ़ता हूँ.
हाँ.
I don't approach it with character.
नहीं, आपको किसी ने बोला है कि ये कैरेक्टर आप कर रहे हो,
Yeah, even then.
उसके बावजूद भी
मैं ठीक है, I'm going to be playing XYZ character. But script कैसी है, कहानी कैसी है? I need to see if I get absorbed in that world or not. And for me personally, I can do that better when I disassociate as an actor. Because then I'm not focused on my character. I'm focused on everything that makes this special or not special, attractive or unattractive to me. Then if I like that world, that's when I start to look upon the character I'm being considered for and how he fits into that world. What is he contributing to that world? Because then I know better. Okay, this character is passive or active. You know, I'm obviously more attracted to characters that are active, not just who are just responding. But then sometimes that can be fun. I did this film called Ek 40 Ki Last Local where he's passive. Everything's just happening to him.
Yeah.
And he ends up with a lot of money. But it was funny.
Right.
So I see those things. Relatability. How much do I relate? Because if you look at our traditional way of formulaic stuff, you know,
relatability के मतलब I'm not trying to sort of make it easy for you to understand. I think कि आप as an actor उस character के साथ कितना relate कर रहे हो emotionally basically. That's what you mean.
Yeah, like if it was the regular formula where, you know, you have to be a hero, you save the girl, you beat up 10 guys, you don't see those people in real life, and I don't relate to that. But someone like Shekhar, who I play, who's just an average guy, but he overcomes a David versus Goliath kind of story. The system is strong and against him, but yet he perseveres. Or even Dev D, when I wanted to contemporize it because I wanted to call out his chauvinism, his obsessive, destructive behavior, and how the women were much stronger and better characters than he was. And I've lived a life of destruction and obsession myself. So that was something relatable. In Oi Lucky, it was his ambition. You know, I to make the kind of movies I made back 12, 14 years ago was ambitious because nobody wanted to make them. And even if you made them, nobody wanted to release them. So like that, I found something that I can relate to, because when you find something you relate to, it's a great place to start. You don't have to try hard to do something that is already a character of you.
Yeah.
And for me, the process is always the simplest solution is always the right solution. We tend to overcomplicate things. No, but he's depressed or he's wounded and he's lost this. But think about how you are when you are sad. You might have a cry and then you indulge in something to take that attention away and you move on and things take care of themselves. So you don't make a big deal out of things. So these are the things that I look for in character. But as far as story like this one, I will say in particular, I loved the structure. I mean, that also takes some to eventually get an idea of script structure, and it may not take you any time at all. It just depends. Some people have a talent for it. But I see the structure, I see the movement, I see how my character graph goes to the graph of the story. In this case, the non-linear was very attractive. How he chose to show the incident and the way he showed it, because I wasn't comfortable doing a true story like this and then showing the incident. But then how can you not have an impact if you don't show the incident? You kind of had to, unfortunately, show it as well. Like in Delhi Crime, they chose not to show the rape, and it was good. They didn't need to. Whereas in this, to illustrate what these people went through and how it was avoidable, it highlighted it even more. So I could see great care has been taken in writing this. Great sensitivity has been considered while approaching it. So already I knew as an actor, I would not have to even ask those questions of my director. He's already sensitive. He's already not exploiting. So you see, like all these things come together in deciding for me. And there's a few more, but, yeah.
जैसे अभय ने अभी कहा ना कि आपका डायरेक्टर किस तरीके से स्क्रिप्ट को अप्रोच कर रहा है, मतलब इज ही सेंसिटिवली राइटिंग एवरीथिंग, इज ही सेंसिटिवली सीइंग एवरीथिंग. तो इनफैक्ट मेरा मतलब मैं पहले बहुत मतलब इमोशनली स्क्रिप्ट को मैं पहले देखती हूँ कि ये मूव कर रही है या नहीं मुझे. and what exactly is telling me the script. It has to talk to me. Okay, this is what you're getting out of this script. And that's how I read first. See, honestly, it was a huge opportunity for me to work with a director like Prashant Nair, whose work I really admire. तो पहले तो ये था कि अच्छा, my first tick mark था क्योंकि Prashant is there. You know, and then the script, of course, I gone through the whole details of the case, Neelam and Shekhar's case, and the whole Upahar thing, and I'm like, I'm so honored to actually, you know, play this part. तो मतलब वो दूसरा tick mark था. फिर script आई हाथ में, then तीसरा tick mark था. So everything was properly tick marked for me. And while approaching Neelam also, you know, I like, of course, as he said, we don't want to, maybe there is a little resemblance, but not clearly, because she's a little different kind of built and everything. But as Prashant's brief was, you know, you have to make it like it's you. You have to find that emotional truth कि ये जो भी कुछ है इसमें, how you can be there in that situation and how will you handle that. So वही होता है कि as an actor आप emotionally उसको अपना बना लेते हो और अपना बनाने की पूरी तरह से कोशिश करते हो. आप पूरा स्किन नहीं बन सकते हो किसी भी कैरेक्टर का, पर आपको वहाँ तक पहुँचना है, उस रियलिज्म में पहुँचना है जिससे आप लोगों को लगे कि हाँ अरे मैंने फील किया. उसने सिर्फ देखा और मुझे लगा कि अरे उसने कितने सारी बातें कह दी उसमें, कि वो कितना गुस्सा है और उसे क्या क्या कहना था, बट शी जस्ट लुक्ड एंड शी जस्ट सेड एवरीथिंग. तो वो आपको अंदर से कैरी ही करना पड़ेगा. देन ओनली यू विल बी एबल टू परफॉर्म इन अ वे.
Yeah, that's, I think, important. What stopped you from a temptation of doing the same story, but in a little more dramatic manner?
Being polite.
No, that's how I've learned it from him. That we are exploring the question.
I think just because they were real people who've gone through these things, so I think all departments, all of you also, were very aware of the responsibility of it's someone who's who's potentially still alive or whose family is alive, who we're going to be portraying on screen. So we need to be respectful and sensitive and always ask the question: are we being exploitative? And I think as working with all of you, I very much felt that you all were also always asking yourselves that question, as was every single department. So is there, and then also just very frankly, I think audiences are, they understand that, what we are reading is that people are appreciating that we didn't, in the performances or in the design of it, we didn't tell them what to feel. We just tried our best to present the situation and to embody it, but then let them kind of, and this is the big debate, are the audiences ready for it, are they not? And I think they are. I think really they are. There's just not, we're still operating in an older fashion where we need to push it onto people, whereas people understand it, and I think also for actors, that's amazing to let the audience draw it out of you, that it has more impact, if you're telling the audience what to feel, or if you're just being and the audience is pulling out of it and projecting, then the performance becomes very powerful. And I think
so all of us, all three of us, must have worked with directors who are not very expressive as actors, whose brief is not what you. He was very good with at least telling us this is what he wants and this is the percentage he wants. No, maybe you can cut this, maybe you can bring this. What happens when you work with directors who are very good directors, but not necessarily good with actors, do not know how to draw emotions, how to draw feelings? What do you depend on then? अभी मत बोलना कि मैंने ऐसे डायरेक्टर के साथ काम नहीं किया.
No, I was going to say quite the opposite. It's not often that happens, but it happens.
It happens, of course.
Like in Devdi, Anurag didn't direct me at all. He didn't say anything. Like he just let me be. But then that was an idea that I'd come up with and a character I knew. So it wasn't even like I was asking him. And I think he allowing me to do my thing and not saying anything in terms of as a director to an actor encouraged me to think, okay, so what I'm doing must be right. And I continued doing that.
I have
and
a
he was
question
happy.
in between for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes a director thinks the form is much more important than the
Yes,
actor.
there are those directors
है
too.
ना? वो
Yes.
कहते मैं मुझे चाहिए आप. There was a very famous art house director who said कि मैं actors को furniture की तरह इस्तेमाल करता हूँ. मैं किसी से भी acting करवा सकता हूँ.
Yeah.
In the other room, I'll tell you the name of the director.
Okay.
I never worked with him.
Hanji.
So-
And what you were saying earlier, that I would rather a director inspire me than just be like, "Arey yaar, why don't you get it out?" Like, then get stressed.
Yeah.
Or like shout at the actor. Like there are very famous directors who are well known to break the actor. You know,
Yes.
physically, emotionally. They feel that if I break you, I get a real clean, honest performance out of you. I think those directors have a handicap because there are directors like him who will not break you and will be very patient and will speak you through it. And you realize in his grace, he's inspiring you. In his directions, he believes in you. And that kind of director is a very healthy director to work with because you come back learning something. And the other director who will break you and get a performance out of you, no doubt, but he clearly can't inspire you. And he has the arrogance to think that he's some maestro, he or she, that breaking you has, because you couldn't be capable of performing had you not been broken, which is entirely untrue. You don't have to be broken to perform. And don't ever let anybody teach you that. If you find yourself there, then just live through it, because most of these directors are very big and you can't say anything. And it's so easy to manipulate them, just pretend like you're broken. You know.
I used to do.
Seriously. Yeah, they're not worth it.
What about you, Rashi? How will you? Have you experienced something like this where the director is very good in his craft and the writing is very good, but he is not able to tell you what he was not very communicative or he is not capable of. What do you do then?
Though I have not done a lot of work, I have done very little work, and independent cinema I have done, and couple of them have really inspired me, but couple of them really broke me, you know. And as Abhay likely said, that it's very difficult if you don't have a director who break you but don't inspire you, who don't understand the process to get you back also, like So it was a really tough time for a couple of, I won't be able to name the projects, but it was very difficult for me to come back because, and when you don't have a sensitive team, like you are portraying a scene or something and you're into tears after that. And then everyone is like, why is she crying? Like, oh, why is she quiet? Like, okay, come on, like you have to move for the next scene. And you're like, I just need one, like just give me 30 seconds to breathe because I've just finished something. But a lot of people don't understand that kind of a space where you're like, they look at you like, okay, means like, hello, get up and move.
Yeah.
So I think that sensitivity is very less in our industry. Like there are people, I'm glad, but there are many people, maybe one of them will have that kind of a thing, but other may not have. That the cameraman will come and like, you're preparing and the camera will, "Arey, light lay yahan pe," and then someone will come and tap you with this thing. So it's very, it's not just a one department in our industry. We have to have every department sensitive. If they don't understand,
Sorry.
yeah. If they don't understand that, ki what we actors are going through, how vulnerable we are when we are performing, and if they don't give us the comfort or they don't, I'm not saying that, just spoon feed us or do everything, but just a comfort, a basic comfort, कि हम prepare करें, हम scene करने वाले हैं, आप ये मत करिए, अच्छा हाँ आप यहाँ पे करिए, अरे, so the whole manhandling which happens on set is very, like, I feel I can't work on such sets now. I can't work on where, screaming, shouting happening and, people are not focused. Nobody knows what script is. मतलब कितनी बार होता है कि साउंड वाले को पता ही नहीं होता क्या सीन क्या है.
So आप मतलब 80s में और 90s में तो बिल्कुल काम नहीं कर सकते. मैंने 38 सालों में 534 फिल्में की हैं. और 534 में से मुझे स्क्रिप्ट सिर्फ 50 का मिला होगा. बाकी सारी फिल्में, एंड येट आई एम विद ऑल माई रिस्पेक्ट एंड एक्चुअली दे मेड ग्रेट फिल्म्स. कई बार तो ऐसा होता था कि राइटर सुबह सुबह लेके आता था सीन और बोलता था ताज़ा ताज़ा लिख के लाया हूँ.
मैंने ये देखा है बचपन में ऑन सेट व्हेन आई यूज्ड टू गो.
ताज़ा ताज़ा लिख के लाया हूँ. कई बार माचिस के अपना सिगरेट के पैकेट के पीछे डायलॉग लिख के आते थे. सो यू आर लकी टू बी वर्किंग.
अनुराग also did the same thing. उसने ऐसे एक मिनट में.
But he's also a writer.
Yeah,
so he could probably come up with something.
हाँ, तो उस सिचुएशन में ऐसे इनकी बहुत सारी सिचुएशन आएंगी, स्पेशली एज ए न्यू कमर. What you?
But I feel, sir, थोड़ा change तो होना चाहिए.
100%. Suppose some role is given to you.
He means you're lucky.
Suppose some role is given to you. I think you, out of choice, did not do those films. But I was on the streets for 3 years, and I needed work. I did not have the luxury of choosing. Today's generation of actors have a great choice, and that includes some great actors. Means Mr. Bachchan has done the maximum amount of work, which is in real life totally unbelievable. But he is doing with so much of conviction, and this is what I always speak to people abroad, that Indian cinema is larger than life. We do the most unbelievable things with so much of conviction that 1.4 billion people believe us. Nowhere in the world actors are revered the way they are revered here. We are part of their life. Will you do a comedy, which I'm sure you are, but you or do a role which is not up to your sensitivity, but it's an interesting role?
Yeah, of course.
You will do that.
Yeah.
And you do not, and it makes you do things which are not aesthetically, something which are not, which you don't believe in as a person.
See, I don't judge my characters, but I cannot get into a derogatory way. I don't want that it is written in a certain way or portrayed in a certain way which is derogatory. If it's aesthetically better, then I don't mind. But it has to be, like kept all the boxes. Okay, we are not. See, honestly, I'll tell you, sir. I come from a small town.
Which is?
Aurangabad.
All right.
तो मैं जब यहाँ पहली बार आई तो initially I had no choice. तो theatre विटर.
Are you a trained actress?
Yes, sir. I am trained.
From?
I studied in Whistling Woods.
Okay.
So I came. So there's a journey. I from औरंगाबाद मैं पूना में पढ़ने के लिए आई थी. फिर मैं वहाँ पे I worked in advertising for many years to support my education, and then I quit one fine day because the joy was always theatre, and I didn't want to go to FTI because I wanted to leave Pune. So there was एक होता है ना कि आप एक जगह से आप निकलना चाहते हो तो अब निकल गए, and Bombay आ गई मैं. So Bombay I was not knowing anyone. So whatever saved money I had, Whistling Woods was the first option which everyone was telling me, and I got a little this thing also, and I joined there. But that gave me a lot of confidence, and when I came out from the Whistling Woods, of course, I joined Nasir sir's motley because I studied under Nasir sir and Rob Rees from Actors Studio. So theatre gave me a lot of space. I started traveling. I started volunteering for a lot of social causes. So that became my life. बट वही है कि चांसेस चॉइसेस तो ऐसा आपको मिल नहीं सकते क्योंकि आप किसी को भी नहीं जानते हो यहाँ पर. आपको ऑडिशन के रेस में तो रहना ही पड़ता है. सो आई यूज्ड टू ऑडिशन एंड ऑडिशन बट कुछ नहीं होता था. व्हाटएवर लिटिल वर्क आई यूज्ड टू गेट कि कभी एक सीन कर लिया. बट social work gave me a lot of space at that time. I started working in villages, and the choices also became like that. The literature opened up, the world cinema opened up, and social work gave me a very different kind of a base for me. Ki, okay, what kind of work I would like to do. That doesn't mean that I've not done bad work. I've done one scene here, यहाँ पे कर लिया, कभी serial में कुछ काम कर लिया, कभी कुछ कर लिया. Just do little bit whatever support I had. पर Angry Indian Goddesses जब मुझे मिला, it was 2013-14.
Which one?
Angry Indian Goddesses,
Yes.
which was in Toronto Film Festival,
Right,
which
right,
opened
I
in
know.
Toronto. Pan Nalin, जिनकी अभी फिल्म ऑस्कर में भी है. तो उनकी फिल्म जब मुझे मिली, I met दिलीप शंकर, who is again my mentor only. तो he taught me acting with a very spiritual way. कि आप एक किरदार में जब कैसे घुसते हो और आप उससे बाहर कैसे आते हो, तो that whole process of, and I've learned that, how beautifully Nalin and Dilip Shankar handle actors on set. How beautifully the team, our DOP, everyone was understood what we all were doing, they were giving us space, but they were, handling all of us so emotionally very well. तो मुझे ऐसे लगा कि ये set होता है. Though I have worked छोटा मोटा यहाँ वहाँ, जहाँ पे ऐसा कुछ लगा नहीं कि यहाँ पे कोई respect मिलती होगी किसी को. And it's just a star will come and that person will only get respect. Rest is like, अरे क्या कर रहे हो यार यहाँ पे. So I learned the respect and love for cinema through with Angry Indian Goddesses. वहाँ से थोड़ा सा फिर journey शुरू हुई. And then choices बहुत कम मिलते थे. But then my social work started. So I adopted one village where I worked on water and everything. So I started spending more time in my villages, working for farmers of Marathwada. And फिर एक छोटा मोटा फिर दुर्गा मिला, फिर कहीं मंटो मिला, फिर सेक्रेड गेम्स मिला. फिर मैं एक स्कूल बनाने चली गई. स्कूल बनाई तो मैंने अब तक 3 स्कूल बनाए गांव में. तो फिर मैं वहाँ पे ज़्यादा टाइम स्पेंड करने में, बिकॉज आई फील कि मैं जिन कहानियों को दिखा रही हूँ ऑन स्क्रीन, जैसे दुर्गा हो या लक्ष्मी हो फ्रॉम गॉडेसेस, इज स्टिल सफरिंग ऑन ग्राउंड. एंड आई डोंट नो, दिस समथिंग शिफ्टेड इन मी कि काम होता रहेगा, पर अगर मैं ऑन ग्राउंड एक्शन नहीं करूँगी, अगर लोगों की ज़िंदगी मुझे सिर्फ मैं सिनेमा से नहीं बदल सकती हूँ, मुझे उसके लिए काम करना ही पड़ेगा. बिकॉज आई कम फ्रॉम अ फार्मर्स बैकग्राउंड. My father was a farmer, तो वो shift हुआ, and the choices also became like that. And so that doesn't mean that I didn't took bold decision. I took bold decision because I believe कि as an actor I want to explore in every spaces.
ये सब नए हैं और ये अभी 3 महीना कोर्स करके बाहर निकलेंगे. और सबसे बड़ा होता है कि मैंने 15 ऑडिशन दे दिए, 200 ऑडिशन दे दिए, काम क्यों नहीं मिल रहा. क्या लक ज़्यादा इम्पॉर्टेंट है या मेहनत ज़्यादा इम्पॉर्टेंट है. आई डोंट like to tell about what I went through being a gold medalist from a drama school for 3 years, sleeping on the railway platforms, etc., etc. But and I think I belong to this generation also, but there's an impatience that mera kuch ho kyun nahi raha. So what is your advice for people who are just going to get out of this school? Apart from auditioning, how should they conduct? You've gone through your own ups and downs of life. So that's why advice from, because you've experienced it yourself, will mean a lot to them.
I've been on all sides of the game, so to speak.
Yeah.
One is take auditions as an opportunity to just explore and expand your own craft. Yeah. There will be many auditions. Instead of seeing like, oh, ये नहीं मिला, अगर ये मिलेगा कि नहीं, अब ये भी नहीं मिला, वो भी नहीं मिला. Instead of looking at it that way, look at it as though more and more opportunities to continue improving yourself. Then there's that case of you actually might do a really good audition, but you still don't get it. I think take out right and wrong from your vocabulary. There's no rights, there's no wrongs. At the same time, I had a very idealistic view of the world. Like I wanted my ideals to be that which manifest and guide me, and experiences I have are within that scope. It's not an ideal world. So instead of fighting that fact and feeling sorry for yourself or fighting back and getting angry, you just have to accept it and see what kind of a world is it that we live in. Because you'll be more disappointed if idealistic, but you won't be disappointed if you're just open to see, okay, what is it that this world is made of? As an actor, I think it's very easy to fall into this sort of victim mentality, like, oh, so-and-so got it because of this and this reason, or I'm from this background and so I have it harder than that person who's from that background. When you start comparing yourself to others, even if what you're saying is true, it's not going to help you. It just isn't. I hope acting is the space for you. I hope acting is the career that will be yours. But it doesn't happen for everyone. And that may be because you're not cut out for it. That also may be that you're brilliantly talented, but you still don't. I thought that if you're talented, definitely you'd make it. And you realize acting talent alone doesn't give you success. And there'll be many people out there who have all the talent in the world, but get nowhere. Because we live in a world which is not just delivering your performance, it's how you conduct yourself, it's who you meet, it's how you adjust within this world of filmmaking, and what are you willing to do, what are you willing not to do. And so it's not an easy place to be. So if it doesn't work out for you, don't judge yourself. You know, it could
That's
be
very important.
it could be that you didn't have the talent. That doesn't mean you don't have talent. It just means your talents lie somewhere else. But you're so stuck on acting that you're not looking at where your talents actually lie. It could be that you have talent for acting, but you don't have the talent to cut it in this industry and the way it functions and the way people function and the systemic structures we have in position. Does that mean you should give up? Well, if you can't adjust to the system and it's constantly triggering you, then maybe you should choose something else, even though you have the talent. So you see what I'm trying to get at?
Yeah.
It's removing, because I suffered a lot, this is right and that is wrong. I suffered a lot, you know, with those sort of principles, and I realized taking that out helped me a lot. And then doing my best, seeing what are the advantages I have around me and focusing only on the positives. And it's weird, I know a lot of books are written about manifestation and where your focus is and where all that stuff, but it's kind of true. It is, because there's a lot of negatives that you can focus on.
Yeah.
And they're there, they're fact, they're true, and it's sometimes hard to find the positives, but when you focus on the positives, give it some time and you'll see certain things around you just falling into place. They just do. Patience is a very big thing to have.
Yeah, I feel if there is not giving up is the option that you have taken, then you have to continue. Prashant, you deal with great sensitivity with actors.
Yeah.
I want you to tell this new lot of actors, how do you think they should deal with disappointments, depressions, failures, and yet keep the zeal alive?
Yeah, so, you know, the first thing, and I've not been doing this forever, but I've been doing this now for, 10 years, and I came to it as an outsider. So being on the other side, what I can tell you is I don't like the audition process. I think it's hostile. I think it's designed not to bring out the best in an actor, and I don't use it anymore. We don't give sides to people. My casting directors have a strict instruction. They're not going to give you the lines and you come in and you do the lines, because it becomes all about the lines. So what we try to do now is only improv. We give you a character and a situation, and the casting director has to have an actor there who will act opposite you, and we've tried to approach it in a way that creates an environment where the actor can feel comfortable, and we get to know who you are as an actor. Unfortunately, this is not the norm, but this comes from a place where the casting process is hostile. So you have to just keep in mind that it's designed not to allow you to show your best side, and you can't take it to heart. You can't, because it's there. It's just there. so the first thing I would say is understand that it is not a reflection on you as an actor. And once you understand that, try to get more comfortable with it. Try not to focus too much on the text itself. Try to, it's not you, it's the process that's broken. The other thing I would say is, one thing I've noticed a lot with actors here is they come to Bombay and they get immersed in Bombay, and their world becomes other people in the industry, and the conversation becomes only actors, industry, and you stop growing as people and you stop exposing yourself to life. And this is the number one way to kill your future as an actor. You can't live in a bubble. You have to expose yourself to people outside the industry. You have to keep educating yourself. You can't get into this mindset, this fishbowl mindset, where it will ruin your potential as an actor. Travel, take other jobs if you have to, meet people who don't work in the industry, stay somewhere other than Yari Road. Like, no, seriously, really, I think this makes. Sorry, I feel very passionately about this, and because I understand how hard it is, and I feel I'm on the other side. And the other thing I can tell you is that, because you didn't get a role doesn't mean you haven't been noticed. So, when I first got here in 2011, I didn't know any casting directors, so I just got a room in Aram Nagar, and I put up a sign saying looking for actors, and all sorts of people walked in. It was quite an experience. But
That was a mistake.
So in that one guy walks in, and I didn't know anyone. My sister was operating the camera. She's a doctor. And in that one guy comes in, and we're like, wow, actually that guy's pretty good. He just walked in off the street. We're like, that guy has something, He's really good. It was Vicky Kaushal. So then, for example, I've had, when we were doing America, we've done auditions, and we're like, damn, that guy's so good, or she's amazing, but we don't have anything that fits. But you remember the person, and you're like, I want to work with that person, and sometimes it takes 10 years. But, like that, I've auditioned actors like Vijay Verma, Jaideep Alawat, who I was like, you're so good, but I don't have anything for you right now in this role. But I will work with you again.
Kind. Huh? Everybody is not so kind.
Yeah, but I think there are kind people. There are casting directors.
That's why I said everybody is not so kind.
Yeah, but there are, and you'll find them. You'll come across them. Our casting director, for example, Sanjeev Moria, is like that. He's he really works with the process. You'll find them. So I would just say, insulate yourself from the nonsense of the industry. Focus on your craft, focus on life, living life, getting your heart broken, going out, being crazy, all that.
I think what you said was very, very good, and also what you said about working with the farmers and everything. But I would like to add something to that don't think that sitting in Starbucks or in Prithvi Theatre is job.
Yeah.
That's luxury.
Yeah.
एंड आज शाम को 5 स्ट्रगलर्स बैठे हम जुहू बीच पर समुंदर को और जहाँ उसको डूबते हुए देखा सूरज को, और वाह क्या बात है. जब मैं व्हेन आई केम हियर इन द बिगिनिंग, तो पैम्पोश यूज्ड टू बी देयर इन बैंड्रा. इट वाज अ रेस्टोरेंट जहाँ पर सब लोग स्ट्रगलर शाम को मिलते थे. तो मुझे फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल यू गेट लॉट ऑफ पीपल ओवर हियर हु टेल यू हाउ टू मेक इट इन दिस इंडस्ट्री. आप पता नहीं अब होते हैं कि नहीं, अब अलग अलग किस्म के, बट वो हमेशा होते हैं, भैया ये मत करो. तो somebody told me पैम्पोश में जाके बैठो. तो मैं जाके बैठ गया, तो वहाँ 7-8 लोग बैठे थे, दाढ़ी वाड़े अधेड़ किस्म के लोग. तो एक आदमी कह रहा था ज़ोर से, भैया जी 8 साल से स्ट्रगल कर रहा हूँ, मेरे को सब पता है क्या करना होता है. तो मेरा फ्लैश फॉरवर्ड गया कि 8 साल बाद मैं यहाँ बैठा हूँगा और मैं कह रहा हूँ भैया जी 8 साल से स्ट्रगल कर रहा हूँ. सो समटाइम्स, which may not suit you, sometimes loneliness is very creative. Desperation is very creative. So as all of them said it, sorry, you were saying something. So this is very creative. If giving up, as Abhay said very rightly, अगर आपको लगता है कि नहीं आपका हो रहा तो चले जाओ ना अपने गाँव यार, कर लो ना. मगर ये कन्फ्यूजन करके कि आपने शाम को बैठ के रोज शाम को आप निकलते हैं. ऑल्सो वन मोर थिंग दैट आई विल ऐड टू व्हाट यू सेड इज हैव अ टाइम टेबल एंड रूटीन इन योर लाइफ. I used to literally live in a small chawl, but I'll say 8:30, look at the sky. 9 o'clock, go and buy something. Because it gave you a sense of purpose. It gave you a direction, strangely. और काम नहीं मिलेगा तो कभी ना कभी तो मिलेगा. I'm talking about 80s. 80s में if you did not have hair, you are not an actor. This is a very dignified, sexy, bald look. When you are losing hair, some of them are coming from here, some of them are going from here, and I was so thin that I could see through a keyhole with both my eyes. And I was telling people, मेरे को काम दे दो. So they used to tell me, आप story writer बन जाइए, आप assistant director बन जाइए. तो अब तो platforms ही platforms हैं. There are casting directors, there are events, there are the social media thing. You need to make work. There are social media thing. Put our auditions on your social media rather than putting.
You have to be creative.
Yes, you have to be creative.
You have to keep
it's
learning.
it's the best time ever for actors right
Ever,
now.
ever for anybody in this field.
I just want to add one thing.
Please, I'll be very happy.
Just act for the sake of acting.
Yeah.
Don't act for the sake of getting anywhere, proving anything, or
Yeah.
becoming anything. Act because that's what you enjoy doing. And that will get you something because you've already reached your goal. I'm here to perform and I got to perform. Who cares if it's on this platform or that platform? No platform. It's the satisfaction of doing what you love. And just stick to that. And what has to come of it will come of it.
And pick up jobs. I think
As he was saying,
Yeah.
different experiences will add.
Indulge
to
into
your-
keep learning different things. And don't follow trend.
Yeah, correct.
Don't follow कि ये फॉर्मूला है, इससे ऊपर ऐसा जाते हैं ऊपर. ऐसा कोई फॉर्मूला नहीं है इस इंडस्ट्री में. आपको बस अपने क्राफ्ट पे काम करना है, वही आपको काम देगा. ये नहीं है कि आपको ये अच्छा उसने ना पता है क्या कर लिया, वो टिकटॉक वीडियो कर लिया, फिर वो वैसा बना लिया, अच्छा वही बनाते वही करते हैं. एंड देन बिकॉज व्हाट ही हैज़ मे बी यू डोंट हैव दैट, बट व्हाट यू हैव दैट पर्सन डजंट हैव इट. सो वर्क फाइंड व्हाट यू हैव. आप में क्या अच्छा है. हम हर इंसान अलग अलग दिखता है, और पर हर इंसान की एक खूबी है जो किरदारों में चाहिए. आप जिस जगह के हैं वो आपका लहजा इसमें काम में आएगा.
Correct.
ज़रूरी नहीं है कि आपको मतलब अरे मुझे तो अंग्रेज़ी ही नहीं आती. नहीं है, आप जिस जगह पे उस जगह के लिए भी आपके पास काम है. बट ऐसा नहीं है कि आप सीखना नहीं है, आपको वो भी सीखना है. पर बस यही है कि भागते मत रहो, सांस लो, खुद का ख्याल रखो, खुद से प्यार करो, लोगों का ध्यान रखो और बढ़ते जाओ. होगा.
That was, I think.
मेरे पास मैं 0 से आई थी, मैं बैठी हूँ यहाँ पर आज, मुझे अच्छा लग रहा है. तो आप भी यहाँ पर आएंगे अगली बार सर के लिए साथ बैठ के. आप
हाँ, मेरे लिए तो सबसे बड़ी उपलब्धि होगी.
मैं वही बोल रही हूँ, you all can be here.
When I'm shooting at any place, the biggest happiness. No award gives me more happiness than some student coming me, sir, I'm from batch 2008. I'm doing a small role in this. It's such an amazing feeling. That was the reason that I opened this school. And I see ads on the films today, and I said, ये तो हमारे स्कूल का लड़का है. या सोशल मीडिया. It's such a great feeling. आज आप जैसे दिखते हो वो आपका प्लस पॉइंट है. Because that means आप स्पेशल हो, डिफरेंट हो. आज आपको ऐसा नहीं लगना है कि ऐसा बनना है तभी आपको रोल मिलेगा. The way you are, I think that's the best way. But thank you so much.
Thank you.
It has been a great
Thank you.
learning experience, not only for students but for me also. The reason that I opened this school was that I wanted to feel that I have succeeded in some business. Because before that I wanted to be a TV tycoon and that flopped. But I did not realize by opening an acting school, it will keep me very contemporary as an actor. Because sometimes when the way they approach a scene, I do not think that this is also a way of approaching a scene. So it has kept me alive with the changing times of acting. So thank you for that. And कुछ हमको इनको देना वेना है? अच्छा. Gift hamper देना.
Thank you. Thank you.
just write whatever your thoughts are. Please write.
Hello, I'm Divyani Darsha, and today we had our first guest lecture at Anupam Kher Actor Prepares, and we are very lucky to be able to attend the lecture in our very first week, and it was a very wonderful experience with Anupam Kher sir, Rajashri ma'am, Prashant sir, and Abhay sir. We got to know many of the things, and we got to realize how to be patient in different situations and how to be dedicated towards our work. So it was a very good day for all of us. Thank you.
So hi, my name is Harshdeep Singh, and today at Actor Prepares, we met the team of Trial by Fire. So it was a very exciting session. I liked the way Abhay sir told us a little bit about the industry. So he told us that कि जो actors हैं वो सिर्फ fame और पैसे के लिए एक्टिंग करे तो इतना बढ़िया नहीं लगता, राइट? क्योंकि फेम और पैसा आप कहीं भी कमा सकते हो, लेकिन अगर एक एक्टर को एक अच्छा एक्टर बनना है तो उसको एक्टिंग करने में मज़ा आना चाहिए. वो मज़े के लिए ही वो अपने एग्जैक्ट एक्सप्रेशन दिखा सकता है. अगर फेम और पैसा आप कहीं भी कमा सकते हो, लेकिन अगर आपको उस चीज़ में मज़ा नहीं आ रहा तो आप अच्छी एक्टिंग नहीं कर सकते. और एक और बात मेरे को उनकी बहुत बढ़िया लगी, लाइक दे टोल्ड अस कि काफ़ी लोग हैं जो इंस्टाग्राम पे ना क्रिटिसाइज करते रहते हैं कि नेपोटिज्म को, काफ़ी चीज़ों को, कि एक्टिंग ऐसे होनी चाहिए, ये क्या कर दिया, ये कैसी मूवी निकाल दी. तो इंस्टाग्राम में इतने लोग डालते हैं, वो तुम खुद उस इंडस्ट्री को चेंज नहीं कर सकते. अगर तुम्हें इंडस्ट्री में आना है तो तुम्हें वैसे ही काम करना पड़ेगा. तुम इंडस्ट्री को चेंज नहीं कर सकते. तुम अभी से कोई शाहरुख खान या अमिताभ बच्चन नहीं बन गए हो कि तुम इंडस्ट्री को चेंज करोगे. जैसी इंडस्ट्री है तुम्हें वैसे ही काम करना पड़ेगा. तो ये अभय जी ने बहुत अच्छे से समझाया. तो बहुत बढ़िया सेशन था. वी वर एक्साइटिंग टू सी दोज एक्टर्स, डायरेक्टर्स एंड ऑल्सो स्पेशली अनुपम खेर सर. तो थैंक यू अनुपम खेर सर फॉर ब्रिंगिंग देम हियर एंड मेकिंग अस मीट. थैंक यू.
Hi, my name is Rituraj Sharma, and today we had this exciting opportunity to meet the cast of the new web series on Netflix, Trial by Fire. And we had the opportunity to meet Rajshri ma'am, Abhay Deol sir, and the director of the this web series, which is Prashant sir. So we got to meet with them personally, and we interacted with them, asked them different questions about the web series and their journey into the acting world. So the thing that stuck with me was Rajshri ma'am's humble beginnings. How she didn't have a background in acting, but she, through her persistence and consistent effort, she is today a big name in this industry. So I would take that away from this whole experience today. And obviously we were all starstruck by the amazing cast, and we wish them lots of luck and best of luck to this series. It's doing amazingly well. I loved the story, and oh, that's it. Thank you.
Hello everyone, this is Rushabh from batch 131, and we were so excited to interact with the team of Trial by Fire, and we were so excited to see Abhay sir, Rajashri ma'am, Naya sir and Anupam Kher sir, of course. But whom we could relate more is Rajeshri ma'am, because we could really relate to what she was saying, that she said कि emotion में रहना पड़ता है, and again there is a switch. लेकिन अनुपम सर ने उनसे कहा कि that 80s 90s में तो आप काम ही नहीं कर पाते अगर ऐसा होता तो. Then we understand what level of dedication and hard work it needs, and I wish all of us try to get it. Thank you.
नमस्ते, मेरा नाम राज नागेश भद्राम है, मैं ठाणे महाराष्ट्र से हूँ. आज मुझे एक्टर प्रिपेयर्स में 1 महीना कंप्लीट हो चुका है और आज हमारा पहला गेस्ट लेक्चर था जिसमें राजेश्री मैम थे, अभय सर थे और अपने अनुपम सर थे और अपने डायरेक्टर सर भी थे, जिन्होंने हमें एक एक्टर के जर्नी के लिए जो चीज़ें इंपॉर्टेंट है वो सारी चीज़ें समझाई है. एक एक्टर को कौन सी चीज़ें ऑब्जर्व करनी चाहिए और उसे किस चीज़ों से इंस्पिरेशन मिलेगी या उन्हें किन चीज़ों से इंस्पिरेशन मिली है, वो चीज़ें उन्होंने हमारे सामने रखी. उन्हीं सारी चीज़ों को ऑब्जर्व करते हुए मैंने एक चीज़ सीखी कि किसी भी चीज़ को ओवर पावर नहीं करना चाहिए. अगर ओवर पावर कर रहे भी हो तो वो चीज़ क्या है उसका पता होना बहुत ज़रूरी है. और अगर ये ओवर कॉन्फिडेंस अगर अपने में आ गया तो बाहर 50,000 लोग ऐसे ही पड़े हुए हैं, उन्हें हम बीट नहीं कर पाएंगे. इसीलिए एक न्यूट्रल सेल अपना बाहर लाना बहुत ज़रूरी है और उसे अगर अपन ने आगे कर लिया तो अपन अपने आप आगे जाएंगे. ये मेरे को बहुत इंस्पिरेशन लगा यहाँ पे. थैंक यू.
Hi all, my name is Danish Nair. I am from Mumbai and my batch number is 131. So today we got this golden opportunity to attend the guest lecture for the Netflix series Trial by Fire, and we got the opportunity to meet Abhay Deol sir, Rajshri ma'am, the director Prashant sir, and of course our favorite Anupam sir. आज मुझे एज एन एक्टर ये सीखने को मिला कि जो भी विजुअलाइजेशन सेशंस होते हैं आलोक सर के, वो राजश्री मैम ने कहा कि कैसे हम इसको यूटिलाइज कर सकते हैं टू परफॉर्म अ कैरेक्टर. जैसे अनुपम सर ने कहा कि सारांश का जो उन्होंने रोल किया था 65 इयर्स वाला एट द एज ऑफ 28, सो हाउ टू क्रिएट दैट ऑरा एंड वो कैरेक्टर में जाने के लिए जो एक्टर्स बिलीव है वो एक्टर प्रिपेयर्स में जितने भी सेशंस होते हैं वी आर लर्निंग दैट एंड आई एम वेरी थैंकफुल टू बी अ पार्ट ऑफ दिस फैमिली. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Gayatri Jairam and I am from batch 130. Today we had a guest lecture with the cast of Trial by Fire and it was really insightful and more than anything very inspirational and motivational. Apart from talking about their series and how the idea came up about it, they spoke a lot about the industry and how to get into the industry, casting, and what really touched me was how to pick yourself up when you feel down, when you face a failure and things like that. All of them really gave us insights on just how to motivate yourself when you're down, and it was really inspirational and motivational and I took a lot away from it. Thank you.
Today's guest lecture with the cast and crew of Trial by Fire was a very informative session for young actors like us. It gave us a lot of insight on the characterization and basically a process of an actor, and it resonated with a lot with what we learn in class. So it was one of a very good sessions, and thank you so much.
Hi everyone, so we just had a guest lecture from the cast of Trial by Fire. It was very interesting. One thing that really stood out to me was the way they were talking to us. It was very personable and they were very down to earth. They shared lots of industry insights of what it's like to be an actor, the struggles you go through and how we can excel as we are starting our acting journeys. Also, a lot of the stuff they talked about was very relatable to the stuff we're learning in class. For example, they talked a lot about characterization. So that's something we're learning about right now, how to get into the psyche of the characters and how to pick up on the mannerisms of the character. So I found that to be very insightful and we really enjoyed this guest lecture. So thank you, Actor Prepares.
Hi, I'm Tushar and आज guest lecture था Trial by Fire का Actor Prepares में और काफ़ी इंटरेस्टिंग था. हमने देखा एंड जो अनुपम खेर सर ने आज बताया अबाउट एक्टिंग, स्ट्रगलिंग, स्क्रिप्टिंग कि कैसे क्या होता है इंडस्ट्री में एंड वहाँ के अंदर की बात अगर उसको हम दिमाग में लेके चलेंगे तो बहुत हेल्पफुल होगा. और जो हमें अभय सर ने बताया वो भी काफ़ी बहुत ज़्यादा था कि स्क्रिप्ट से कैसे जाना है, क्या करना है, क्या प्रोसेस होना चाहिए. और मतलब ट्रायल बाय फायर का जो पूरा क्रू था बहुत ज़्यादा इंटरेस्टिंग बातें के साथ वो अपना ये लेक्चर जो था वो आगे बढ़ा. और एज ए स्टूडेंट मैंने वो चीज़ देखा और बहुत सारी चीज़ वहाँ से मैंने ग्रैब करी और वो चीज़ बहुत ही अच्छा लगा. ये एक्टर प्रिपेयर्स को मैं थैंक यू बोलूँगा ये गेस्ट लेक्चर के लिए.
Hello guys, my name is Sara Azim. Just got done with an amazing and very learnful experience with a guest lecture with the whole cast and crew of Trial by Fire, and of course Anupam Kher sir as well. And we were told about a lot of things, like the first step an actor should take when you get a script, how to decode the script, how to approach the character, something that was extremely useful for all of us. And one thing I loved the most was that Anupam Kher sir's motivation, that it's okay even if you have to wait for some time, the patience, that's the most important thing. Also, I would like to thank Anupam sir and the whole cast and crew of The Actor Prepares for such an amazing experience. Thank you.